Yes, welcome back to another episode, University of Conscious Science. Before we get started, I want to play one of my joints. You know me, I'm trying to get everything together. It's a lot going on. But today, we're going to talk about discussing the ascension and revealing your true self. That's what it's about. So, before we get into this ascension and revealing your true self, I like to play something from my little archive. So, the system is there already. We got the little setup. So, let it roll in, you know.
Seasons change and you be mine.
Turn
The
this back
sun
around.
come out and make you shine. Crash and
This
burn
is
and
an
go
artist I'm
down.
working with out
Mary
here.
Jane, you make me high.
How
Even
yourself
when
talk?
my
That's right,
friends are
little
gone.
Nate,
Baby
215. What's
girl, you
good?
sing my song. You fill my soul, I never fall. Can I be
This
your
is Can I Be Your
avatar?
Avatar? Try to get into this EDM thing out here. You know what I'm saying? So we can start off with
Seasons
it.
change and you be mine. Sun come out and make you shine. Crash and burn and go down. Mary Jane, you take me high. Even when my friends are gone. Baby girl, you sing my song. Fill my soul and never fall. Can I be your avatar? Seasons change and you be mine. Sun come out
We're
and
about to
make you
discuss
shine.
some
Crash
stuff
and
and
burn
just
and
play
go
one of
down.
my
Mary Jane, you
EDM
take me
joints. I'm trying to
high.
get
Even
into
when my
EDM like I
friends
was
are
saying.
gone.
So
Baby girl, you sing
I
my
could
song.
distract
Fill my
myself
soul and
as an
never fall.
artist,
Can I be your
a
avatar?
demigod or astral world. That's good enough. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's get into this. Ascension thing. What is ascension first? One thing, not too many people understand what's going on right now in the Aquarian age today. Ever since the 2012 movement started. What up, Michael Deline? All right. Ever since the 2012 thing started, we started changing. Not like ourselves say, I want to change. I'm not going to eat this no more. No, something occurred. If you remember 2012, when it came in, a lot of protests took place all over the world, not in the United States, but all over the world. People started protesting, going against their government. You notice that? You remember? Well, that's part of the ascension process. What happened? Let's look back at 2012 real quick so we could understand what ascension is and not have a pseudo interpretation of what ascension is. When you look back at 2012, right, the most important and significant thing that took place was the reading of the Mayan calendar and Nibiru coming back. Those is the most important thing. Why? Because that has something to do with the indigenous people. That's why. It's a consciousness shift that was taking place. This consciousness shift was predated, pre-predicted from before the Egyptians that was going to happen. And everything else was a stage from the Sumerian, Babylonian. Everybody's stage was a build-up to this. This is the epitome of what's going on. Did the spiritual realm fuse with the third dimension in 2012? Yes, little Nate, that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. But when we're talking about the spiritual realm fusing with the physical world, it's not like how that says. Because you got in the spirit world positive and negative spirit. It's a force of yin and yang. So when you just say it in that term, it just seems so, no, it don't go like that. Let me break it down to you. Simpler term is your subconscious mind, the wall opened up. Your subconscious came into your consciousness. And of course, the spirits is with the subconscious. So that's what really happened. A wall dropped down. All right, now back to the 2012 so we could understand the significance of this Nibiru and also the Mayan calendar. Now, what was taking place, right? Everybody got possessed instantly. 2012 came in, everybody just woke up and said, I'm gonna go protest. No, you got possessed by something. Why I say possessed instead of awakened? This is why. This got to do with Nibiru now. Those that awakened at that time, or I say possessed, was literally repping Anunnaki, Nibiru. That's all you heard about, even on the news. The news people is talking about the Nibiru coming and the Anunnakis and everything. Nobody can stop that. They came. All of them is back. Sumerian gods in you, in your subconscious, in your genetics. That's what made the people, they have total control over you to do the protest. These people now go back to the ancient ones, the original ones, the shining ones, your first souls, the first beings. They came back in us. A lot of people felt this Kundalini thing activating. That's what Kundalini inactively did. It actually just activated people. Uranus just came online. Everybody Uranus came online. Let's go to that real quick before we go deeper. Because when we saying third eye opening Kundalini, the snake, you have to understand what those mean on the whole. When we talking now the Anunnaki coming back, Nibiru coming back, what actually took place is before you was a physical body, you was a shadow being. Before you was a shadow being, you was a spirit. And these now is where we get all the different, you could say, frequencies that make your physical body. All of this is not one tone. You're not a solid brown. You see the shades? That's actually spirits coming together to form you. You're more of a fragmented person, a fractal. But in full, what came to make you is similar to clouds coming together and you see one intelligent image. That's really what you are. So this now, our primordial self, our beginning self, these shadow selves, goes back to the, like I said, primordial period. If you study Lovecraft, there's a guy named Lovecraft who write these books about Chitaru and the different beings that was existing at that time. You got to realize that's very real. That's when we were shadow beings, when we was what was called the Afries. Afries is the word you get African from. African would be a group of them. If you had one singular, you wouldn't call yourself an African. You would call yourself an Afri. That's singular, not plural. So what is an Afri? If you Google the word AFRI, you would get some inhabitants that once roamed Africa. So you would want to know more about these Afris. Who are they? Because you're called African, African American. Regardless, that's where you come from. All people come from that. So what is these Afris? The people that documented the Afris was when the Ottoman Empire was in. The Europeans wasn't there yet. The Ottomans called them Afrit, evil spirits. Spirits. Afrit came later on and was translated after the Ottoman Wars between Isabel and Ferdinand. That's when Columbus got involved. And they was doing their little discovery thing. They saw people like the Arawak Indians. The Arawak. Where did the name come from? Arawak. It come from Afri. Afri as in African, the group. Afrikaners took that later on. The Afri name is Africanus name. He didn't make it up. You got to catch what's going on. If he named himself Africanus, where did he get it from? That's what you got to say. And he's not the originator of it. So you go to the etymology of it. The originator of the source was these inhabitants that once roamed Africa. These inhabitants that when it was documented by the Muslim under Ottoman Empire who ruled for 700 years, they actually have a longer history of knowing these people. They was called also the Magi's. These Magi's is not just regular people. If you study Magi's, you study the first group of people, they had different name, Aryan. You know, Aryan is not a race. Aryan just stands for the Aries period, the first zodiac sign, the first group of people. So these group of people now was considered demons. There was dark, dark, black, black people that had the knowledge. They had the books. They taught astrology. They taught mathematics. They taught these things. They was covered up over a period of time, and they was known also as the Chaldean. Chaldean in theology, you know, amongst the scholars, is still debatable if it's a place or a people. It's a people because they're trying to hide African proof of what the Bible is, all those books is. So our original Negro, the original people was called Chaldean. This is documented by Flobenius in the first race. You look it up. Flobenius is one of the first persons to start going around the world and notice the Ice Age. From the Ice Age, he noticed Caucasian, European. They was the only part. Europe was under the ice, not Africa and all them places. That's why their stuff stagnated for a while. Now, with them being under the Ice Age, only North Europe is under the ice. South Europe, which is connected to Asia, which is connected to Africa, wasn't. So what happened? You have two groups of people came out. The people from the North Europe became the aristocrats, blonde hair, blue eyes because of their time in the ice. The ones who was out are the precursors to the Etruscans, the Berbers, the Greeks, and the Romans. They don't have blue eyes, and their hair is black. They mingled with Asians and Africans, so they have Eurasia. The actual term for Europeans was Indo-European, meaning they're mixed with the Asian people and all that stuff. But it didn't go for the aristocracy, the blue-blooded that they call themselves, the noble who came later under the Saxons. They defeated Rome. They came out the Ice Age last. This is important to know because even amongst those two, one race, you would call it, and race is a fake term, it's not real. It was made up by a human being. And I'll get into that later, but this is still about ascension and the primordial period. I'm explaining it to you because you have to understand the whole shadow and how the shadow became physical. So those beings was first who you was, and then if you study Lovecraft, he'd tell you the stories. And there's an overtone, and I'm gonna use this term. I'm only using it for this broadcast. The term alien. Right after the primordial period, you could say the alien period came in. This is where you get the Star Wars stories. It's still tied into a lot of mythology that I'm trying to make it simple for you to understand, just bringing you down the timeline from the beginning, our star time. This is when we were star beings, not in the physical form yet, nothing in the physical form. When we see pictures of the Anunnaki, the reptilian, not in the physical form. This is when we was in the Draco constellation. Draco constellation renders a invisible body, a light body, a predator body. Now, when we're talking about the Draco constellation, that's the first from the Most High, the first star seed, you could say, to land here in this dimension of the universe, which is Southwest. This side of the dimension was not occupied by anything. It was terraformed. When we say it was terraformed and made, and it was terraformed by Enki, Lord Enki. Hello, Tilhat. Peace and blessing. um, Enki now, what we consider the picture, is not a picture. Take the picture out of it. Take those pseudo things out of it. Enki in Sumerian means consciousness. That's it. When Enki is not a physical being, he's a light being. These is light workers. We're going to get into the ancient ones, all the different star beings, the watches, so you understand everything what it means. So now consciousness came into the subconscious world. The subconscious world will be space, spewing out everything. Thoughts, everything. Something come and organize thoughts and start making circle, square elements, beryllium, hydrogen. Everything start forming its own world upon world. Simplest way to look at it is is the wave. We live in a wave that the wave now start waving to a certain beat and it start forming spirals in it. It spins. When it starts to spinning, we call that an atom or electron. That's the first to come up off the wave. We're the wave. Spirit is the wave. All right, we vibrate at different frequencies to make atoms and stuff. So when we come up out the wave and they recognize us through microscopes, that's what you're looking at, an atom and a bunch of them form like hydrogen. Hydrogen is the first to come. When you put two of them together, you get beryllium. Beryllium is lighter. It separates from hydrogen. Hydrogen keep the process of evolution going and growth. Beryllium is taking it over here and it makes its own and become whatever it's going to become. All the different elements that you see in the periodic table, which makes up with biochemistry our physical body. But that's nothing to us. We're spirit. We're the force that is actually making those things happen. So our shadow selves now is the story of us, what we see in Star Wars, our star stories, when we was forces. This is your Aset, your Heru, your Set. These have come into play now. But now they have a more deeper meaning as far as we made them into fantasies in the Western world. And back then, they were still from our Egyptian Heru, Aset, and Set, the main three characters. You know, it became Brahma, Shiva, and Rudra, and so forth, all the way till it became Jesus, Mary, and God today. All of these is the same. Just don't look at them as any different. You understand? It's just the ruling people who comes. They take the translated story and they translate it to their new culture, which is made up. They have to make it up. I give you an example. Like English is Arabic. Any word in English is an Arabic word that's just flipped around. Arabic never had vowels in it, only consonant. That language is the sacred language of all indigenous people. We never use consonants. We're not consonant. We never use vowels. Vowels came to play. If Google vowels, it'll tell you in the 17th century or something like that, vowels was added into words as they did the translation, like the Bible was translated. So when we didn't have vowels, this is the pure language. It's called the true language. When you put vowels into it, it's what you decide the vowel going to say, which confused us today. Because now the interpretation is the person translating, but he giving you his interpretation. It's not what this one says. Okay. Now, our ancestors, right? This is us in ourselves, our true selves, our first souls, as shadow beings. When we came here as demons, we're governed first by our natal chart. You come through your natal chart, and as you coming down through each dimension to get to this physical world as a soul, a spirit, things is added on to you. Jealousy jumps on you. Envy jumps on you. All the different spirits jump on you. You have reawakened me. Yes, Gwendolyn Harris. Been listening for a while and just let you all know here. Hello. That's right. God bless y'all for tuning in. All right. So as you build these forces up, this is where you look different. If you know you look how you look on Earth, it only applies to, you could say, 1,000 pounds per square inch. That makes up your physical form. If you go into space, it's not that pressure. You would look different. You'll change depending what the pressure and force is pushing upon you. So you're not fixed to look like this. You look like this within this atmosphere. Not dimension, not nothing, because the 9 planets is on the same dimension, 3 dimension, but each one renders you a different look, a different form. But you can't die. Your energy. Guess what? You're here to learn that. You can't die. So fear shouldn't come into you. Now, our story, because I could take this in so many directions, but our story now from shadow beings, when I was telling you about Draco come first, that's a dragon. It came here as a dragon, the space, the dark space and stuff. And in it, it gave birth to what we see as nothing else. Masturbation was first. And it's interpreted as in the Egyptian form, the mother in Gnostic form masturbated, and Set, the other force, impregnated her, and thus Draco was born. Now, this Set that we're talking about, if it was only a woman dragon, how is this possible? Well, this is the version of what you take the yin and yang, where it will be anything inside of you will be a positive charge, anything outside of you will be a negative charge, and you combine them. It's the same thing as parthenogenesis. Women's at one time impregnated themselves through their bone marrow, through calcium, and it's still possible through their will if they wanted to. But that's how it's done. A form of parthenogenesis took place at that time with two forces, positive and negative. The same like when a sperm touch an egg. Do you know when the sperm touched the egg, it's an atomic explosion that makes it penetrate. Not a little boom or a sensation you feel. You're like 1 billion times an atomic bomb. Each cell of you is an atomic bomb, and look how many cells you got. What runs the body is so much power. You alone could destroy the universe. How much electricity you have in it. You make the sun look like nothing. So, on that note, now Draco was here first and gave birth to the constellation of the Draco constellation. These is physical beings, but yet they have no physical traces if you're looking through your eye. With Draco now came Cyrus, that's her son, Set. They rendered the ibis, the dog look. That's why all of us got that dog look, men dog, everything. Animals dog. I could take any shell or shape and it forms like a dinosaurish head, the dog. That's our normal image. The reindeer, those images of the head, that's Set. That's what we came. That's why the Egyptians document them with the dog head. You know, the ibis. And we call them also in the Arabic, that will be your jinn, your jinn. You understand what I'm saying? This is two different things. When they took it as jinns, they're taking their shadow self and hating their self or calling it negative. They don't understand it. Nothing in creation is a waste, don't mean nothing, or don't have something to do with you. Everything in creation do. And once we realize that, we will go into details of our life and stop being so superficial and just see what your mind wants to see. You understand? Because your mind, that's how it works. You're only going to see what it wants to see. So now that we understand, Draco now gives birth to Cyrus. Physical beings isn't here. And we're not talking in the sense of the Star Wars movie. This is forces that is scary as fuck. Real forces. And so now, with that, a war started taking place between Draco. Why? Because Draco rendered only androgynous beings. Women, females that was both man and woman. They was perfect. The dragon is perfect. She made only those type of beings. Perfect example would be, what's her name? The Egyptian woman Nefertiti, hermaphrodite. And when we ascend and go back to our true self, we go back to being a hermaphrodite, including the skull, that now our brain, which is right and left hemisphere, through alchemy will unite into one sphere. That's who we are. I feel you on this, and all ties is with research and much intel over the years. Yes, Gwendolyn Harris, it does. I did a lot of research. I was going through this. That 2012, and you could say Anunnaki jumped in my body, woke me the fuck up, but I was still in my body. It felt like two people was in my body, and he wasn't coming out. I wasn't letting him go either. So I held on to this, and I dealt with this, man. It was a Kundalini activation. I could break you into detail, but for me, it just felt like somebody was in my body, and I was under being held hostage. But it took me through many meditations, and I saw mostly Babylonian stuff. I started studying stuff that I don't look at. I started seeing it. I started seeing images in the mountains, in the trees, and it took me into it. Not just to look at just the image like on the outside. It took me through it. It took me deep into it, and I saw bronze crystals coming together to form a solid object. These crystals was each one of them dumb. Every single crystalline on us is dumb. They're very small. Micro, you're looking at a quantum world. Well, your true self is more in the quantum world. That's why they're able to study it now, which will take on many, we're talking thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of strings that form an atom that's inside a, 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 a subatomic particle. And subatomic particles is full inside atoms. So you realize an atom is just a portal, an opening like a mushroom, the lily flower. And out comes the subatomics. And the subatomics knit this world together through genetics. All right. Now, with this in mind, does the shadow beings, or now we're talking about Draco and Cyrus, is a relationship because Cyrus only rendered male, the opposite of them. These male now once was with them on their side of the galaxy, which is the Draco constellation. The difference is the Draco people is psychic. They had sex psychically. The people on Cyrus had to have physical sex. They lost their ability to do their psychic stuff. They became more male minded, one sided brain, and so it was like a discontent between the two, which caused an actual war between Cyrus and Draco. It was settled with a queen. This queen, she wound up marrying into the Cyrus, which rendered the black dragon, black people. From Cyrus birth Pleiades. Pleiades and Cyrus rendered the spirits for white people. That's why they claim the Palladians, the Arcturians. That's their stuff, yes. They landed in Sumer. We landed in Egypt. When you go into the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, they was leaving a disaster to go to Africa. That's where they went. The disaster was our constellation story. It wasn't on Earth. And they came into Mali. First people they encountered, Mali. The same people I tell you in West Africa who is the progenitus to everything. They fought with them. It was a war between these shadow beings and the actual physical Cro-Mango type, not the ones we have today. This is where evolution is going to take place now. This is what we call the Homo, not the Homo erectus, which we are, the other version of us. I'm trying to remember the word, but I don't want to dig too deep because I lose the storyline. So these are the more Bigfootish type people. You know the word, hominins. Same people of Mali, but we was in the hominin body. You really bringing it home for me. So now, when you go read the Emerald Tablet, that's where you see they left. You see Thoth, he's going to go into the halls of Fermented. That's meditation. We're going to go into the halls. That's the magnetic field of your body. Everybody's in your magnetic field. Whoever dies is on you. They can't go nowhere. They on you. And until you face them and understand this is where you have spiritual attacks. This is where you have mental disease, Kundalini activation, people seeing weird things. They fly in and out. You see them through the flicker of your eye. They can't go nowhere. Where are they going to go? They're in your magnetic field. You know why? Because you're the dragon. A dragon can only make more dragon. A god could only make more god. Angels could only make more angels. Demons could only make more demons. All of them was here before you. That's why in the Bible it says God took dirt, clay, and made a human. He didn't snap his finger. He had to take what was here already. That's you're the product of what was here already. Your actions that you take today is not your actions. I mean your emotions, the way if you smoke, if you drink, if you eat certain food, it's not you. It's your past life actions you're repeating. And you're here to fix those. So you have new actions. But just unconsciously doing what you're doing, you're acting out off of your past survival mechanisms. And that's what you carry on into this world. Well, these shadow beings, these demions, they actually went to war with when we like I don't want to jump too far. I was at the point where I said Egypt. Thoth and them came down in Egypt, and the Sumerians came down in Sumer, where you get the Mongoloids, the great fighters, all this. This is spiritual still. This is not all the way full body until I tell you we're messing with the hominins. The hominins in Mali fought and warred with the shadow beings, which is Thoth and them, the original. And what they did is they trained them. They scared the hell out of them. After a while, they trained them. This is why Dogon, look at Dogon, still have the training, and they keep it sacred. If you look at Dogon training and you read the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, and there's a wonderful book. If you can't fully comprehend the Emerald Tablet of Thoth, I would tell you to get the what's his name? It's a great book, man. He break it down. His name is Jerry Issa, Jerry Issa, and what's the book? Google him, Jerry Issa, Something of Man, the Something History. He break down everything, all aspects of what you need to study to make it, Ascension, everything. So he translate the Emerald Tablet into easy to understand, and it's accurate too. These people actually tap in. This is the process of what you need to learn. By doing this, you'll learn to tap in. This is configuring your mind in the right timeline. If you don't have everything in sequence correct, you're going to will things out of order, and you can't will something if it's not, feasible. You can't will imagination. That's you just get an imagination. You have to will knowing what you want. So I'm giving you the timeline so you could actually be where you're supposed to be and understand. So now, when we come down here to the physical earth, the hominum or whatever, this is where your Lord Enki is the same, Thoth and all of them. They start tweaking the genetics of the hominum to make what was called the Homo sapien, which is us. This could be demonstrated by the fact you got different forms of Negro. You got Negro, the original, which died off before Europeans came out. Then you got Negritos. That's the second class of them. And one rendered the other. So just showing you those two differences, if you look up the word, you will see that. Greetings, big smile. What's going on? It's good to see you. Thank you for participating. Well, these now is what we have documented first in Egypt as in Sumer. They went concurrently, two different type of star beings that finally came down. And we go more, if you want, I'll do a video on the star story, the whole Star Wars, so you could get it, because those is inside of you. That's your mentor. You see Obi as the same as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi is the same. Obi that I showed y'all in the African um, um, form of the Sephiroth and the West African form of it. And I'm not doing it because it's black or anything. I'm giving you the original, the origin. If you want to do something, you got to know the origin of it. Everything has an origin, and then cultures duplicate it as they invent themselves. So now we know OD, and Obi. Those is why you have Obi Kenobi or whatever in there, and the Jedi, just like Jesus, is still the same. The Force, it's the Holy Spirit. Everything is the same. And so once we understand these stories, you get to don't be superficial in your thinking of gods as these big beings that's here coming. No, it's a force. It's an energy. Your energy, and that's what they was, forces. When you see the Sumerian guy holding up the pine cone, which symbolized the pineal, you know a pine cone is the pineal. So he's telling you that's his energy. We get that from the what comes the Pleiades people. When Pleiades came in, we got consciousness. You see, that's why it runs late in history. But when we was in the beginning, hunter gatherers, that's what we was, just digging down. That's why you have the 3 period, the savage period, where it's just actually artifacts of actual You could say, what was it? Digging devices. It was not too many things compared to the barbarian age. It came after the savage age. After when the barbarian age came, that's when you have tools, you have pots, fire, wars, shields. So you see, our consciousness went through stages, and then you got the civilized period. Guess what, though? Twist it around as far as if you want to know an evolution. Evolution, the savage is was the most evolved person, and the civilized is the most lowest deep evolved person today, which is us. And so we kind of messed up because the savage knew nature, and he lived according to it. He was closest to the theory and was living it. Later on, as we got intelligence and we learned how to use fire and make forged weapons, which is equated for in the book of Enoch, says the angels came and taught us that, remember? So you got to realize it's still a force. It's not something physical. So these angels, Samael, Lilith, all these that came and gave us these things, is our subconscious spirits coming to our consciousness, sitting on our pineal gland, and all of a sudden we wake up, like how the protest did at the beginning of 2012. The people didn't, change. It was more for possession. And right now, it's in a lot of us. A lot of us have instincts that we didn't even know we have. Doing weird things, staring at the sun, doing all types of different things you never did 3, 4 years ago or before 2012. So you got to realize something is inside of you that's a part of you that is not you. You get it? Okay. So, well, we're coming around, any of those topics you want me to go in details with, I would. I know everything out my head. I'm not rehearsing this. I wrote down the title to keep me focused on what I'm doing, which is Ascension and Revealing Your True Self. So now let's get into the words, the Ascension and Revealing Your True Self. Now, why this is important, why you heard everything that I said, is the simple fact you have all those beings in you. And ascension, what we would think is to get with your higher self, get feng shui and superficial. It's not what it's about. Ascension is to tell the truth, who you are, your many sides, your many splits, your demonic side, your angelic side, your dark angel side, all those being your Sumerian side, all of them that's in you. If you cannot face them and you suppress them, you can't ascend because they all got to go their way. You understand? Everything is inside of you. You're many beings. You're a universe. So you have many splits inside of you. These splits is there for a reason, compartments. And so when you go into ascension, you get to meet all these sides of yourself. See yourself sometime the future you, the past you, the child you, the teenage you. All of these you see as ghost images, shadows, because now these composite being, your full self, break back down into the shadows you see. So this brown will come up, the light yellow will come up. All of these, and those you see fragmented beings. They fragmented because they were split up or went through some type of trauma. And that became the inside of you. You got to know, yes. And so once you understand these, this is where Kundalini come in, Hatha Yoga, Keri Yoga, the Book of Tao, for you to unite yourself back under one house, which is called your soul. Your soul is not inside of you. You don't have your soul. You're here to attain your soul. This is what's called the coming into day ritual by the Egyptians, the Book of the Dead. It's funny when you realize what they're trying to implicate. We're in hell. We're coming in today by them doing an initiation or ritual. So that means we're in darkness when we're just ourselves, unless you've been initiated. True thing. And coming in today means to see the dead. Think about this. Nobody can die. Energy can be created, but it cannot be destroyed. It's energy. It could only transform and change dimension, go someplace else. So on that note, what exists before is still here. Can you see it? That's the problem. Cats can see it. Dogs can see it. But you can't see it because we see in the visible light spectrum. That's it. We live in an electromagnetic spectrum. That means the visible light spectrum, about from how wide your screen is this much of it. 0.2% of 100%, the visible light spectrum. So if you was to have a ball in your hand, you're only seeing 0.2% of the ball. Think about it. So if your eyes can only see in the visible light spectrum, and you only could estimate things that's in the visible light spectrum, and your ears can only hear but a certain amount of decibel high and a certain amount of decibel low, but a cat could see beyond the visible light spectrum, like into the infrared spectrum, the ultraviolet spectrum, and a dog can. A dog can hear way past us. So can a cat. Who is more qualified to assess this reality? Us or them? Think about it. So, when you go into Ascension, and we talk about junk DNA, and what I just told you about the animals, your higher self is to get back those instincts that make you see those things. It's not for you to act feng shui and nice. Oh, I'm higher self. No. You're going through a biochemical change to activate junk DNA. Junk DNA that make you see into other dimensions, make you hear beyond the normal. Activation is you activate yourself. If you study epigenetics, you see your DNA activates and closes off of your belief, what you believe. Most of us believe what our parents did and follow it as culture, society. So we never change. It's a constant world that we looking forward to a future, but it never comes because you're repeating what your parents did to your child. I have a dog 10 years now, and he follow me around everywhere I go. That's right, Gwendolyn Harris. He's your protector. He's your guard. That's right. Cats too. And you will see cats, they get rid of negative energy or invisible spirits that's here. You know a cat is taking on some spirits. When you see them in the corner, always pushing on something and they got one. They feed off of that more than food. They love that. Even your negative energy. When you're in a negative place, the cat will come and just rub itself around you. The cat could also put an astral protection around you. That's why we have the big sphinx. The Egyptians knew this. And so they protect the whole earth with that one cat. Look at a lion. The dimension or the space he covers as far as the territory no other lion could come into. He could sense it beyond his vision. Once another animal or alpha male comes in his territory, he's on it. So cats do the same thing. They offer you an astral protection from negative forces, any spirit that is going to hurt you. That's why cats is important. That's why they was worshipped in Egypt. So you got to understand what we see is just an animal, a pet. We don't take things into detail. We just very skim over the top of everything. They say it's a dog, so we say it's a dog. They say it's a cat, so we say it's a cat. But you look in Egypt, they got them on the walls as humans with feet and everything. What's that about? Well, say you have a cat in your room, dog. You go into meditation, your dog become a dog, a dude. He look human. In the astral world, he's a human being. Your cat is Basat, or best. What I call it's Basat because that's the female feline cat. She assumed that goddess. This is deep now. Now we're going to go into a little bit more. Now you see these all is inside of you. Under certain circumstances, you have a channeler and a trigger. And now you Basat. Now you thought, now you this person. That's what they do when the military captures and tortures and waterboard a person. They compartmentalize their characters and create a new sub compartment where they input their data, and you also now as a program where you got a channel in you. That's how come they let go the terrorists and send them back, because they implemented a spy in them. My children and I always did say our dog look and act human. Yes, your dog, you know, is actually a being in the astral world, and most of us is in. How you doing, Seek? Is in. What's going on, Sandra? It's nice to hear from you. I love the shells, man. You know, it's beautiful. All right, most of us don't know it, but in the spiritual world, we're in relationships with our cat and our dog. And you know, at one point, it might seem bad in the physical form, but you're not a physical person. You're not real. If you ever saw the movie The One, if you remember Jason Statham and then that black guy, the tall guy, you know, he's in a lot of movies. They was partnered. They was like time cop chasing Jet Li through his different selves. He had 125 hymns to kill. Remember, the same thing I'm telling you. And so I thought that a while back. Yes, and so now remember, where would this world exist that there's a world that has 125 cells? He's picking up motorcycles and smashing them together. Where would that world be? The astral world. It's a real world. And what's going on? If you catch it, Jet Li kills the black guy. But the black guy in the physical world later on, he's in the gas station as a gas station attendant. When Jason Statham and Jet Li's finding the gas station blower, he comes out and like, hey, don't blow up my gas station. And they both look like, what the hell? That's how you work. Your physical don't know you. Don't know what's going on in that astral. You're not conscious of none of it. Only if you could wake up in your dreams, if you could meditate and see it. When you meditate, you're dreaming. Your whole meditation, if you to see, is the epitome of all powers from God. Is to be a seer. That's why Jesus said, "For those who have eyes, let them see it. For those who can hear, let them hear." That don't mean with your ears and eyes. No, this is deeper. I'll give you an example of seers. We could use these for instance. We're going to use this. This is how a seer works. Do you see the image in there? In the crystal? I just made this today too. Isn't this beautiful how it glows and shines? I worked on this for like 4 hours. This one took 4 hours to make. All right, now, you see the picture in there? See this. You see the hat man right there? Excuse my hands. My fingers is tall. You know I used to have long nails, and that's when I'm not working. But when I'm working, I'm working. See, I look like a work. I got working hands, man. Cut up, everything cut up on me, everywhere. Cut up, because I'm in the mind for real. I'm getting it in. All right, now, like I was showing you, we turn it sideways to see it take the same crystal and can see through it. And you look into the other world. You see it? You know, I represent Baron Samadi in the Hot Man family, the Black Horseman. All my crystals have hat people on it. If you could see the man with the hat, you will make out the rest of the image. This is him, and this is another person with the top hat on. Remember we spoke about the top hat? See the guy with the top hat? I told you he was the opener to that world. If you could look in these crystals and see, this is how seers work. It's the epitome of being a psychic, empath. You don't only sense energies. Now, I'm not showing you this as some image that I'm telling you to look at and imagine it. I went to this place and I visit these people and I'm one with them. It's a difference. When you're doing it right, it's a story to each one. Not the crystal, not the beings. The story I'm telling you about ascension and seeing those 123 different yous that is in this crystal that lives out of a life in other dimensions of light. You're in light. You're light. Illuminati, a light. a light being. Get back to your source. So your purpose is to understand consciousness is light. When we talk about Enki, it's the light in the darkness. And darkness isn't bad. It's the creator of everything. It gives you the foundation. But then the light goes in there and organize it like the foreman. So I want you to just see, yes, I've made this today. Look at this. Look at this hat, black. You see the hat, the big hat with the black boy in there on it? All my crystals is real. I teach you how to read them too if you don't know how to read them. But you're supposed to take one and read it. It has spirits in it, and these spirits change as you move. Because I'm gonna break it down. Every eyes only see at a 45-degree angle of light. You only your dimension you're in, three dimensions is at a 45-degree angle. And so when you look at this, you're only seeing it from a 45-degree angle. So it changes as I turn it in a 45-degree slow angle and tell its own story. So these you look at and stare and turn slowly, and you look in the image and you see how it turns. And as you recognize, these spirits will visit you if you have the eyes to see. You understand? But this is how it works. You turn to see the whole story. Look at it. You see the black eye and everything. And to everybody, it might show you a different image. You don't have to see. It actually awakens your subconscious, your spirits, and you see what is pertaining to you. So as you turn these, this is how you see them. These is what real crystals about. Do you see? For me, I see the black guy up here with the hat. You see his two eyes there, his body, his whole body right here. That's my dimension. Like I said, it's the one where Obitala, Legbar. That's my world. They gave it to me after Ascension. It just started coming with the crystal. So you see, we have our own thing going on here. You see it up close so you could get a good look in there. Alright, so this is just one. This is for sale. If anybody's interested, we call this number. Just hit me with number 5. We call it number 5. But you see, I just made this. It's a beautiful thing. Even on the top, is there this the one? Oh, look at this. Yo, this has a little boy in it for real. Yo, let me tell you, this is kind of bugged out. His face is right here someplace. If you look in here, it's a boy where his whole face is in here. All these is like little kids and all that. That's crazy. All right, let's keep it going. I smashed my finger too, doing some work. So I'm in healing. Work with me. Work with me. All right, this one here too. I just made this one. Now this is special. It got just like the orange calcite look to it. All my joints got a little glitter. The little blings that you see, those is what you would lock your eyes on to take you into the particles of light into other dimensions. But as you can see, all of them, you look good, they take you into other worlds. That's how they work. With this now, the main image is on the back. As you turn it and move it around, it shows different variation of the image. So, like I said, it's how you see it, but you have to have the spiritual eye because that's who you are, your spirit, governing by a body. Um, so, understanding them, and I'm gonna use different shapes too. Look at this. You see how this shape actually put a face right here? You see, and the shape of these is unique to form its own images for you to see. Yes, I got a few crystals. Gwendolyn, that's right. I think I see him. All right. You see now as I turn it, all of them is like that. You see the hat man is up here, the hat. And it's a little boy through this little hole right here. You see, you gotta have the eyes. It's like a cat being or something. And you see now how the face come in between this. This is like a crack, but it still make a face. You see how it works? These is what these things do. And you have this in your subconscious to see all of this. It's nothing in reality. If I was to smash this, it's still going to make the same image. It renders, no matter how you put it. You just have to have the spiritual eye. Now, if you have the spiritual eye and you're a seer, you know, you could use this to tell you more of a deeper story. How can you develop your spiritual eye? Well, you're going to learn. Pay attention. And so the hat, as you can see, has the hat on it. It looked like the boy is holding something. Yes. Yes. This is exactly not just how it works. It's just always you're going to see one is me and or the Hat Man. This together, the boy and the Hat Man. They work together in this reality. They the ones running everything right now in your lives, and we can't see them. But as you look at these rocks, I think you don't just do it for me. Go make one yourself, and now you're conscious of it. Go see them. And I take another. This is just all crystal right here, as you can see. And I look at it, the same result. When you take it back, you see the image. You see like the boy right here and the Hat Man right here. You see them again right here, two people. You see, and a bunch of other people come right here on the side. These is how seers see it. If you're not able to interpret the world, you would think this is just a fragmented piece of crystal. But you see, it's more to life. God makes everything perfect, no matter what angle you see, no matter what. This is to teach you there's nothing you can't overcome evil by just thoughts and telling you. That's a beauty. Yes, Gwendolyn, thank you. If you're interested in any, just let me know. We'll call this number 6 if you want. But you see them right up in there. And so as a seer, say you wanted to know what your daughter was doing, your family was doing. You could take the crystal and stare into it and look beyond what you want, and it'll show you what you want to see as far as your intentions when you put it into it. And so I show it to you back here between white and the dark. This will make the images. If you're a seer, you will look. You don't have it all in your face like this. Then it looks like a crystal and it's too matted. You can't get it. But as you doing your exercise, you will have it away from you that you see it enough as the black and whites now, and you see the images in them. All right, let me break this down to you. When you never knew about this, and how I know about this, and I can see everything in here. Everyone is a god. You know the god. This will be this is a special. Anything on my live, I'm giving it to y'all at special prices. I'm not gonna hit nobody in the head hard. You could tap this right here for about $30, $40. If I was putting this up, I would want 100 and something for this. But I'm not doing that now because really it's trying to get everybody acquainted with these crystals and get them doing it. So sometimes just you could hit me up, email me, and make me an offer. And I'm more sympathetic towards anybody's situation and will try to work with them. But you see the Hat Man here? You see he's do you see what's going on? It's a world here, and it shows you what sheaf we're in. Thank you, Gwendolyn. And it shows you who's the ruling god. We're under the Orishas right now, Ifras. It's in the rocks. Nature is showing you that. I'm not showing it to you. I'm not hyping it up. Look for yourself. And I could do it from any angle. Once you know what you're looking at, then that's what it is. And so this now, I'm gonna take you into the spiritual world. I got this to the side. I'm gonna let you know now. When you go into the astral world, which is the magnetic field, right? You might go in there, and that's what you're gonna see. This sometimes this is in your face like this, and that's what you. What the hell? What am I doing? You gotta pull yourself back, and as you pull yourself back, it start being an intelligent image until you get to see what it is. Like for me, I see a bunch of people right here. Like he got his arm coming up on here. You see them. You see? These are what I call shadow crystals. Because for us to see into them, you need the shadow. Like you see the boy face right here with the forehead, his nose. It's a face right here, and then another one coming in. So once you understand how spirit crystal work, and yet you look like somebody's right in the entrance of there. You see? And now you see the black boy and the Hat Man right there again, and right there in the. This is how we see. This is what seers see. And so when you're a seer, right? Let me explain to you. You see everything before it happened because I'm not showing you this as like images. Remember, you have to interact with them to do this. You can't just go and say this is this and this is this. This is deeper. I've seen that it was glowing orange, like very vividly. Yes, it's like when you can say you was just chilling in your room, and then all of a sudden, let's take this. You know, you have this there, sitting on your dresser. We're just looking for a quick minute, and then all of a sudden, You said, what the hell? It's like a man with a hat right there. Then you like, oh, that's nothing. Then you go to sleep. All of a sudden, you see this man with a hat, and he takes you inside here, and y'all is running around, and you wake up conscious of this, and you're like, what the hell was that? Or if you even look here and say you just chilling, all of a sudden you see this boy waving at you with one hand up in there. You see him like that? You see the little boy right here with the one hand waving at y'all? They're conscious. He's waving at y'all because he know I'm putting this on video. This is dead ass right here. This is how they work. It could change at any given time as I turn it in different angles. But to show you it's fixed, you see what that said? If I'm a new learner, what could be so ways to learn as a beginner? Lavishly stare at the clouds. This was brought to me by staring at the clouds. I didn't learn this myself. When I stared at the clouds, all of a sudden the clouds was flashing on me, flatlining. I was seeing silver and it was just flashing. What was that really doing? It started downloading all the different dimensions to my consciousness. It was to me, I was, if you look at my video, Draconian Initiation, I tell the whole story of how I caught my eyes. And it's actually, I call them star maps. They was maps. I call them as downloaded maps. And I was like, yo, I used to look at the clouds and say, you see those maps? It's different places. Look, I see them. Nobody back then, it was like 3 years ago, understood me. And I saw the clouds as beings flying by, picking up souls. When souls die, they go up in the clouds, and that's their first journey back home. So the clouds pick up beings. That's what's in the clouds. It's documented now so much. I could show it to you in so many books. But once you able to see them and make visual confirmation, they come and visit you. Yes, I see that. Yes, Sandra. No, my crystals is real. It's only beings into it. They gotta document me as the only dude that could actually put beings in crystals. Black beings. All of them is the same, no matter how I do it. Look at this one right here in the front. He's holding his hat to the side, if you see him. So you gotta have the spiritual eye. Once you have the spiritual eye, this is your journey to being an empath. You see now how the hat man is sideways? Look, if you want to just look for the hat, you'll figure it out. And you see him, the same one guy. Oops, did I catch it back? It's a new angle now. Every angle they change. Look, now you see them? It's like the young one here, the older one here. They all there all the time. They do their thing. I was saying that once you able to see into there and you're interacting with them, say your daughter was going through something, your child was going through something, and you close your eyes, you will see them. You see what your daughter's doing right then and there. It's plenty of times somebody's knocking on my door and I just close my eyes and look and I can see who's there. And I know who's there. I know what they wrote in. It showed me everything. If I was concerned about somebody, I just close my eyes and it'll take me to what I'm concerned about. You have the ability to do that. That's what being Ascension is about. It actually lets you meet these 125 views from different epochs in time. You know, epochs is actually three epochs. We got three, which is when we was fire beings in the sun, our first self. The earth, the moon is in the sun. Then the sun separates from the earth and the moon. And from there we became demons, the primordial period. The primordial period is when we see the Sumerian and all that stuff, all the demonic stuff. Then after that, the moon separates from the earth, which made people on the earth human. The moon renders beasts. Like if you look in the Bible when you talk about Revelation, the beast is what's worshiping them. Holy, 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 the beast. In your true form, you're that beast that came down here to learn to be human. If you don't ascend, you go back to being the beast. You didn't know that, but if you read, look like the Ashape, a Pashi, what is it, Ashapi? It has it right on there, tell you the beast, and then next to it in parentheses, the self. You're the beast. You're either going to help yourself or you're going to fall. That's it. I'm trying to show you I did it already. I'm done. I could die. I can die. I'm immortal already because I faced all my demons. I went through all that. Watch my videos, the reptilian eye, all that. Even these people were scared of me out here, thinking I was some type of reptilian. I went through these transformations, physical transformation, looking weird. Nobody talked to me. I was the crazy guy. Now I'm like saving everybody out here. And I kid you not. I'm gonna have my neighbor come on here and we talk about it as a topic. All right. So that's when we're gonna discuss alchemy because it is an alchemy. Once these beings come inside of you from the 2012, they're gonna be the ones to tell you stop eating meat, stop. So that's not, that wasn't your real thought. Those is the beings inside you. For them to stay in you now and help you, they have to have a certain condition to be in the environment within your body. And now, if you're not back in Africa eating those African things that grew there, you're going to be eating artificial processed food from the government, which is toxicity inside your body. You're toxic. You're not vibrating like these crystals to look beautiful. So what happens is they start putting you on these diets. Dr. Sabi and them start coming and telling you about alkaline and starches. We're more starches than we are alkaline. That's what society offers us. So you eat rice, that's starch. You know, potatoes, that's starch. Meat is starch. Everything we eat is starch. And starch, when you put spit to it or saliva, it becomes sugar, glucose. So all we ingest in is glucose. Our body only needs energy. So that's why it does sugar. Sugar is your main base food. You're better off drinking a soda. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're only taking the sugar out of it. You only need Kelvin, the sugar. Also, protein. Protein is important because protein is what make your flaps your DNA flaps turn off and on. So if you are doing activation, you're gonna burn a lot of protein and it makes you weak. And so you need a lot of protein. That's why yogis eat cheese and drink milk all the time because they're going through that protein as you ascend up, meeting all the different aspects of yourself. It becomes very unbearable in the pressure inside yourself because you're going through knots inside of you and you're busting open chakras. These knots is what's called nadis. You know, you're making the lily flower. Each petal you go through, or a chakra knot, or a cell, you have to open it up. You're the consciousness, you're light, blue ray of light going through it. And as you bust it open, it feels uncomfortable. In your normal sense, you feel like a certain scratching on you, like it's crawling on you. So you like, and there's nothing there. That's your nadis opening up. You're going through his light. And then once you get through, it's like as you push through, circles coming out this way. So you got little chakra circles coming, like like on these that I show you, these beautiful patterns on them. These is chakra circles. These will come out now, one at a time. With actually now, when you finish, it look like a sunflower circle inside one big circle. And that will complete a whole part of a chakra, which make it drop down now. Now you're finished with that. You know, yes, I scratch all the time. All right, once you get that now, you actually completed the one flower life, one geometry pattern, one dodecahedron of many more you have to travel within yourself. It's almost infinite to actually unlock the universes within your magnetic field, which when you do, when light hits you, you reflect like these images. You see the same thing that was in the crystal is in my forehead? Look at my forehead. As I move, you can see in different dimensions. Look, it's like I'm projecting. You can see through me if you got the eyes. So this is what we're gonna. That's what you learn in Ascension, because you see in reflection shadow beings, which is your true self. So let's get back to this topic because we're gonna air it off with the same beginning Ascension, revealing your true self, as what we're gonna get into now. When we say in the Ascension, don't get it superficial and think you're going to be like a priest, a person doing good. It's that you are in society and you do what society tell you to do, you act fake. You're not real. You go to work and pretend to be this way. As soon as you get off 5 o'clock, you're a different person. When you get home, your mom. You understand? That's three splits right there. So, Ascension teach you to be real in all three situations, to be your true self, revealing your true self. That's what it means. So, how we know this is because when you actually listen to the term that's written in the Temple of Isis, know thyself. Temple of Delphi, know thyself. When you know yourself, you know your limitations. That's what know thyself means. It don't mean to know you could fly. It don't mean you could go and do magic. It means to know your limitations. If you were to say, know thyself, what does that mean? And that's a question. And for you to get in the temple, you got to know the answer. You would say, yes, I know my limitations. Here we go. Come right in. Anything else you said would you've been null and void. So in actuality, you learn to know your limitations. Peace, 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 powerful journey with everyone late for the rest at night. That's right, Raven. All right, you enjoy your night. Now, you see, once you realize then that ascension, when I say revealing your true self, is actually saying, forget about what society views say. Forget about the term mom and act within the construct or definition of mom. Forget about being the no, you can't do it with your job because that's important for you to have some type of discipline. That's discipline. But actually, when you get off work, that's the true you. Want to go to the bar, probably smoke a cigarette, go lay out back and chill, go work out. Those is the true selves that you have to incorporate more into yourself. You see, in our science, and it gets deep to understand the science because then when you finish the journey, light is the Father is the light, Son is the light, your Father. And I speak highly of the Father because that's who taught me and I respect him to the utmost. And so your Father expects certain things from you. And if you can't live up to those certain things, you ain't gonna understand. One thing, you can't lie to yourself. You can't lie to yourself because, like they saying, I'm in the Father and the Father is in you. It's in you already. So you can't lie to it. You can't pretend to it. Even if you're unconscious of yourself lying, your job is to wake up to the self. Your, let me see. And sometimes a lot of us have ego problems. And only way I could make you understand how these ego problems will work. It's like my nephew. I came up to him and he's sitting there and he's like, I said, what you doing, nephew? He's like, I'm working on my ego. I said, no, you're not. And he said, yes, I am. I said, how you working on your ego? He said, I'm learning how to just let things. So I said, you fucking lying. You're a fucking liar. You ain't working on shit. You're a fucking liar. He go, why are you talking to me like that? I'm like, you are. You fucking lie, man. And he goes, no, well, fuck you. And I said, I thought you said you working on your ego. Got you. See, we don't know who our ego is. So how can you work on something if you don't know what it is? The ego is what comes out under pressure, under stress, when I keep disrespecting you. When you feel you have no other outlet, your ego comes in as the protector. That's what your ego is. That of itself is the self you have to learn to get rid of, to fix. That true real self by revealing yourself. Revealing yourself is not being, hey, how you doing? Have a nice day. That's fake. Everybody's fake. The true self is when you put a person under pressure and tell them, fuck you. I can't stand your ass. Get away from me. Then you hear the truth, the true self. That's what it means to reveal yourself. All right. I had 2 lucid dreams. I realized I was dreaming and became freaky. If I knew, I would do more important exploring. I seek. Yes, that's the whole process of it. There's no such thing as the word dream. We're gonna get rid of that in this in this form right here. Dream is somebody who's unconscious of his projections. Dream is a person's unconscious of the ancestors who's standing over your face, projecting onto your pineal to upgrade you. You have to deal with them every night. You're not a physical being. If you was a physical being, you wouldn't sleep and you would be here 24/7. You're not here 24/7. You have to go to sleep because you come from someplace. And where you come from, hold on, let me fix this. Where you come from, it has lessons for you to learn. So by you understanding that, you realize then that you're not fixed here for all day, and you're not fixed to be here just to do those things. You have two parts to you: a physical side that demands certain things, such as a way of life, money, car, whatever, food. And then you have a spiritual side when you have to go to sleep. You can't stay up. You could try for 2 days. Third day, something gonna take you back home where you come from. And that's where you get your lessons from. You're not conscious of them because it's a subconscious programming using images and don't talk. Once it programs your subconscious, you wake up the next day and you act out your subconscious in your conscious, but you don't know why you're doing it. All right, where we at? So dreaming, we don't dream. We actually have projections, but we misinterpret it and call it dreams. And when we just call it dreams, we don't do nothing about it. We don't ponder on them. We don't see them as mysteries within our own selves we have to solve. And so we just go through life living under the matrix program. But if you realize your dreams configure you, you go someplace. It's the astral body, and your astral body is the body you use once you die. You have to learn how to fly. It's also called your macabre. It's your UFO. When you see little flying streaks around in the sky, that's you and your macabre. You could do that, your consciousness. But for you to learn how to fly in your macabre, you have to be aware of your macabre. But if you call it dreams, you're gonna fall for the archons. They're feeding off of you. When you say dream, that means only thing they exhibit. You never have a dream that actually achieves something for you. When you have a dream, you're giving off an emotion, a feeling, a sense of. So they induce it. I'm sorry to disrespect my ancestors. I'm not supposed to do this because that's why I don't want to talk, because I'm under oath under their spiritual world too, and I'm revealing a lot. But to be continue the story, what happens is they feed off of your energies. So they might make you have a sexual dream and you're feeding them. They might make you have a fear dream. Most of us have nightmares. What we call nightmares is them feeding again. And so once they realize that they could trick you, this is how they work. They read your thoughts and see your images that your thoughts give off, because you capture you capture everything on you. It's here. You see I'm projecting through my head. Same thing. They can see what I see. And so once they see that, they use it against you. Your love for your child, this woman you attracted to, and next thing you know, that will be what they use to create what you call a dream. And so once you fall for that, they feed off of that fear, anxiety, love, hate, or sex energy. Those five energies you give off. That's all they're doing. No matter what you dream about, it never changes your situation, but it actually feeds them. And so now, say you're in your dream, lucidly, and you say, this is a dream. Do you know that they will back off of you and stop it? There is no dream that you can't stop because it's not a dream. You just have to be conscious in the dream. And then they will say, welcome. We've been testing you for the longest. That's how it is. Then from there on, you never dream again. Dreaming become a red flag. You will sense something is wrong. Somebody's trying to trick you. Somebody's trying to feed off of you. I don't dream. If I start a dream, I wake up. What y'all up to? And I'm not saying I open my eyes and jump up. In my consciousness, I'm up. Like, what's up? They see me alert in it. They know everything is dark space for me. I don't play them games. There's no such thing as a dream. My first experiences, let me explain it to you so you know it's fixed and it's facts. I started having lucid dreams at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning. When I first start waking up, I can hear my TV, but I'm sleeping, and whatever's on the TV, I'm participating in it in my room, in my dream. And so I used to like, what the fuck? I think I'm awake, but I'm not. I can hear the TV, but I'm acting out what's on the TV, not laying in my bed. So from there, I actually now started realizing, no, no, let me go one before that. I had a crazy, scary dream that had my heart beating so fast. It made me realize, nah, this is not real. This can't be real. And I was like, nah, this is not real. And then all of a sudden, everything just stopped in motion. Then I said, take away the floor, take away the wall, and everything just went away. I started smiling to myself. I said, get the fuck out of here. So I woke up half an hour in the lucid state. So I went back to sleep again. The same thing happened. And I just said, nah, this is not real. And I looked at my hands. I said, this can't be real. Take it away. And it just, everything, I'm in dark space again. From there, I said, no, this is not what I think it is. So I said, let me go see what my mother's doing. Sure enough, went dozed right back off, and I was with my mother, seeing everything she's doing in real time. Came back, so let me go see what my friend is doing. And from then on, it was a fight with the archons with this thing called sleep paralysis. Because they couldn't get me no more. I could see them coming. I used to war with these spirits when they come down. Because what happens is when you go to sleep, you right now you have a magnetic field protecting you from spirits, any bacteria, any parasite, any force. But when you go to sleep, your magnetic field drops. Read Karl Marx and them on dreaming. Your magnetic field drops and all your thought forms attack you. So now that you're under attack, that's what you see, and you go into a sleep paralysis. You know the body is numb. You don't know it's numb because subtle energy is what it is. You are a subtle force. That means if you didn't know better, you would be thinking you're moving. You like this in your body, but it's a subtle energy you're moving only. You're not really moving. You could go like this, but you don't know to use that force because you use subtle energy. So you're thinking you're moving your arm, your leg, and you're not doing shit when you're sleeping like a baby. But you're thinking that it's subtle, of course. Eventually, if some people is good enough, their subtle force bring real force. Boom. And you move, and you break that. So now, once you understand that's my journey, you understand why I'm telling you, and I don't dream. I wake up every time and I confront my thought forms. Those are thought forms. They use your immediate environment, friends, family, and make a story for you to try to tell you something. That's why everybody's familiar in dreams. But now they're scary looking. So, like, just like how the Egyptians draw the picture of the African statues or masks, that's how they look. So, you don't want to see that. Your subconscious blanked them out from you as a child. And so, they actually hide behind dreams to make the dreams happen. But in reality, if you could take how they look, you won't ever dream anymore. Just face it. That's ascension. When the Greeks and the Romans used to love to go with the gods at night to learn their lessons, to fly around, see themselves with their wings, from being a dark angel, a white, perfect angel, all white, everything white, or you could just be the dragon with the wings, dragons without. There's so many beings, fairies, mermaids, all of us. We don't know where we're from. It depends what tribe you is. So you got things that is part of you that only come up under instincts. You have those instincts in you and put under certain conditions and situations. That's what Hitler was doing with the Jews. Had many different experiment places that brought out those instincts, those things in them, and they studied them. And that's why they're able to know what pharmaceutical drugs do, everything. It was all a big experiment on our Kundalini. Our Kundalini renders us an inner us, our astral self. They tap into the astral a long time ago. That's why they control our thoughts now and control everything else. Our thoughts is being radar, just like a drone overhead watching you. Same way thoughts is. It's a frequency that everybody could tune to. So, anyways, now with that all taking place, we ourselves, where was I? Hold on. What was the last thing I said? That's my fairy. Okay. Now, fairies and leprechauns, all of those, right? You got. I want you to understand it because Gwendolyn just said about her fairies and leprechauns. They're 100% real. You see, they're here today, and I seen them here, and can understand what the hell am I seeing. I'm like, gee, I don't come from none of this stuff. Not even what I'm doing now. I am done 4 years ago talking about this. But from my experience, and I know it's valuable because I lost my mind. And I seen everybody turn their back on me when I said I saw these things. And I was alone. And you would think people will isolate you and take you in and put you away someplace. And I was left alone. And it made me a genius. So much of a genius, you know. And so once I became a genius, everybody seeked me out, including the same people who turned their back on me. And so I'm bringing it to you now that you understand. Even mental disease is not mental disease. It's the beginning of a healing. But we don't know. And we take this European way of killing us and drugs and everything. It's just not the right path. So let's get back to this now. With all of this, hold on, what was the last thing? With all of these different sides of ourselves, we take different journeys when we go to sleep. If you could phantom it, you will face the archons for sovereignty. Right now, you're under the government. The government's jurisdiction is just like having your social security number and birth certificate that's in all caps name. They're the ones that have jurisdiction over you, with jurisdiction being kept at the Vatican with your birth record. Your birth record is the real you, and you're issued a birth certificate. Just like a bond or you lease a car, you ain't got the title, you got the lease papers. So your birth certificate is your lease papers. It doesn't say trustee on it. You see, so you're not the owner of yourself. Right, the straw man, B Fox. That whole thing is tied into spirituality because that governs a sheath, a protective sheath. That once you're under government protection, you're protected from all the forces in the air and everything that you're supposed to face to ascend. All the splits come out, and it's up to you now. Being sovereign is actually what it means. 40 acres and a mule. You're your own government. You're your own police. You your own food source. You your own medical. If you do it, you have to be prepared for that. And the government takes their sheath off of you, and you're no longer protected. You face the archons to see if you're worthy. Once you face the archons to see if you're worthy and you make it, which is just surviving, not having a mental disease or losing your mind, opportunity to you. The universe comes and saves you. And now you're on universal signs. Everything works for you through synchronicity. You could be this week homeless, next week you have 3 places. Synchronicity start working for you. But you have to be able to take the punishment, the suffering, the universe showing, pounding on you, seeing if you want it. You gotta want it. Once you want it, it's these characters come out. You ever saw Dragon Ball Z where you Goku's son get taken off by Piccolo to a separate planet, and he just drops him there and leave him in the jungle, and he becomes the gorilla and all these other beings? That's what's inside of you. But if as long as you're under government care, you null and void yourself on those things. But in the real world, going through trauma, stress, suffering, different things come out of you. That's inside of you. Them beings, they get to showcase themselves under different circumstances. But if there's no circumstances for them to showcase themselves on, such as going to work, coming home, it doesn't require nothing. So you won't never be able to unless you hypnotically get into yourself and learn it through the craft and magic and pull the subconscious thing off your mind, which is what everybody's doing now. But I'm giving you the actual real journey, and the revelation is the true self of yourself. Reveal it. Be real. Don't hide it. Don't think that you could actually soften something. Go hard. What you going hard is saying you're assertive of what you know, because Your intuition is the key to this. Your intuition is going to take you out of the matrix of society and tell you something else. That reptilian that's in you. The reptilian is your soul. That's what they called it back in the days, the reptilian. It does have to slit eyes and it make your eyes slip because you're twice born. You have double eyes. He sees through the shadow part of your eye. So if you had an eye and you would see a second eye up there coming from the reflective light, like if you're reflecting off a crystal, that's his eye. And so that being the reptilian, you see more people when they're aligned in magnetic field. You get two things. You get the line like Haku, or the Egyptian god who has the hands like this and he has that split right down here. And with it also come the slit of the cat eye. You get there's a light hit it from a certain angle, reflects the cat eye. That shows you're active, you're activated. And it comes to every and everybody through sun staring. That's the basics of what activates your soul, because your soul is not on your body. And you have to have your chakras come. Your chakras is in the magnetic field, or the demions, demons, a bunch of demons come. All the animals that you see in the zodiac. The zodiac attaches back to you, and your soul floats over you and attaches to that. It's a three-part, like a bungee cord. So your job is to open up your chakras. That's what yoga do, and learn the spirit world. Once you do that, then everything is available to you. But if you ever looked at the old zodiac, I'm trying to pull it up now, you will see that it's all animals on there. These animals and these beasts and these creatures is actually who's inside of you, your true self. And by you uniting with them, you actually bring them out. This is your true self. You would say this is you. You see, this is a cell. This is a chakra. And you're always going to see it's a person riding on a protective spirit. This is not a demon. This is how you travel as a subatomic particle on a dragon, on a lion, on a being. And this is you and your pure self. If you ever get to make it to be the Devi, that would be you, the Devi, the sun. You understand? So this is actually one chakra in a cell. And you see, you have many different aspects of yourself. This is what these pictures is telling you. These are zodiacs at you at different angles of yourself. So let me give you the basic picture. I just wanted you to see something. Um, the one where if you see the cover, it's a bunch of different aspects of the zodiac, and you got all the different creatures. The I'm talking between the signs and actually the spirits that's on it dueling, and it would look like Battle of the Gods. Well, that's more who you are and where you're at than actually to see yourself as a human being. It's not actual real. It only renders you this dimension for a little while, but it's not what you're gonna see in your true self in the spiritual mirror. All right. So once you realize that, if we go into the revealing of your true self, and so your true self is when you actually take that suppressiveness off of yourself. It's great ideas and great concepts that probably get killed by your um, lack of attentiveness towards yourself or belief in yourself. These is what you need now. This is an intuition based world now, with the universe aligning what your intuition is telling you up for you. So by you aligning your thoughts, it's simple to get your intuition to you. The intuition is the first. How do I know if my chakras are blocked? I can feel energy stuck in my head. All of us is blocked. You come blocked. That's what you're here to do. Open your chakras. You understand? With opening your chakras, you see into different dimensions, spirits. You become an empath, meaning you can sense the energy. Now I'm saying you're gonna read people mind word for word. That comes with time. But with sensing their inner feelings, something is wrong, or just an uncomfortable anxiety come over you when you're around people. This is like the beginning. But the first step towards all of this is intuition. By you getting the earring. The earring came at a period of time. You remember everybody's ears was ringing? We don't talk about that no more. That was them coming in. Everybody got a genetic upgrade, and actually the Anunnaki in them. And so once that happened, what we wind up doing now is there's a time in you that is set that you get these voices that talk to you. For me, it was like around 7 o'clock. And I started posting at 7 o'clock on Facebook about 3 years ago. It was the greatest posters that even have me sometime like, wow, I wrote this. Is and only at that time I would post them. And so I realized it was me tapping into my intuition. And when I first learned that shit, I was every day at a certain time. And then it started coming on at 10 o'clock when I was laid down. It's like just these thoughts will come to me that it was so good. I wish I recorded it. Like if you could hear what's inside of me, you will be amazed. But to get it out into the physical, you can't say it. These is beyond words. We don't have words to make this yet. And so I tried to keep a notebook to me to jot down. That was my first uniting or opening of a chakra. And this was actually where I learned, and it goes for every human being. We have our will and then the will of your intuition, where you say, I'm gonna go to a party. Then something say don't no. Something say you don't go to the party as a matter of fact. You're like, nah, I'ma still go. You go to the party and something bad happen, a shootout, you get beat up or something, and you should say, damn, I should have followed my first thoughts. That's your intuition. It's always been there. This is what you want to nurture, your first thoughts. If it tell you to move to the left, go like that, move to the left. If it tell you move to the right, go like that and move to the right. Be your intuition. If it tell you whatever it has your mouth saying, don't regulate your mouth. Say it. The truth hurts, and that people can't take the truth because they got you as a prisoner. When you come around them, you have to watch what you say, watch what you do, so you can never express your true identity. By you being able to be your intuition, you assume back your true identity without worrying about what other people are saying, which is now going to bring out the God in you, the next level, your demion. And so intuition is the first thought. Once you listen into it, because it's channeling from another dimension, it comes and float over to you. It's right over you. You feel like sometimes arms touch you or whatever. Now it's ready to connect to your chakras. So a bunch of things come with your intuition. Stop eating this food. It can't connect if you're not vibrating at the right frequency. If you're eating processed foods, these things block your cells. Cells is chakras. Let me show you this beautiful. This is a bunch of chakras on here. These is what chakras is. Look at this. I'm making this was concept stuff before I invented the Dragon Ball, where it's the whole crystals like this. So this concept here is to show you cells. They actually is the key to this. They breathe, they eat, they shit, they alive. So they get hungry. You eat to feed your cells. What did you eat? Did you eat something that was made, processed, that actually is another living thing? A living thing can only eat a living thing. You can't put a dead thing in a living thing and think that dead thing is going to give life to the living thing. It can't do it. Yeah, it looks like a honeycomb, huh? It's very beautiful. I wish I could. I think my camera can't focus in on this angle at this range, but I mean it's beyond beautiful. You can see now the little spiky parts on it. You know, its detail is beautiful, and it's replicated in everything that I'm gonna start making. Let me see if I can use this to make it bigger. This is my mag. There you go. You see? Look through the magnifying glass. Now you see those beautiful patterns in there? Look at that. Look at that. You see it? Yes. Yes, it's deep right here. This is something I invented, you know, messing with this stuff. I found these and look, when I was showing you this, maybe I'll show now. You see it? This whole thing is like that. I tricked this out where I made a whole big one like of it. You know, and this is made by me. Hold on, let me go to a different side. Because this the whole thing is just tricked out. If you can see it in angles, it's really beautiful when light hit it. Like look over here when the light hit it, you get to see what it does. All of it got this pattern on it that is like little chakras, little snowflakes. It's just a thing of snowflake that you need to look from angles. I'm gonna use this small one. Look through the little magnifier. Let me see if I could put this into a scenario. All right, this is where it would be. Let me get over here. Like if you could look through this, the whole thing is just a bunch of little snowflakes. Let me see. I can't really get the position on it, but man, you see this? This will make a diamond look stupid. There it is. Look. Yeah, you see now. Look in the big one, not the little one. If I hit the light right, you get to get the bounce off. There it is. Look. This whole thing is like that. What just reflected right there. It's just snowflakes and beautiful patterns, the whole thing, that you have to shine it in reflective light to see these. Like I'm seeing, you see the white part now? That's what the whole thing over, like a Coogee sweater. But the whole thing is like that. Even when you don't look like it, it's all the whole thing. And it's this making my ears ring. Whenever I hold it or look at it, my ears start ringing. So I know it has a lot of spiritual power to it. It's a very powerful piece right here. You see the patterns in it? Let me see. It looks like it's working out now for me. I gotta learn all this stuff and mess with it. But yeah, look. As you can see now, look at the streak. When I do the streak, follow the streak. You see the stuff in the streak? It's crazy in there. It's detailed out in another way that you have to look at it, the reflection of it. All right. Seeds from the tree of life. That's right. That's right. These is the same thing. You see these fossils right here? These is protection, and these was living beings. This was once a living being. Look at this heart. You know what I'm saying? And so this is so beautiful. I love this heart. You know, if you're interested in this, you know, we'll call this number 7. It's there. But I like this too. You got them look like a ring. I find these so beautiful. I like this little mirror here. You know, and you get to see the details on them. This is what protects us. Living cells, living things, not dead things. You see the pattern on there? It mimics the cells that's on us, the universal honeycomb, the octagon, the dodecahedron. That's the universal symbol of life right here. So all our cells are shaped like the same. So you get to see the details in these. You know, these is over 25 million years old. For this to look like this, it's 25 million years old. I repeat, 25 million years old. Look it up if you doubt me. And this is what we use right here for spiritual protection, amulets, bracelets. These protect you, not no dead crystal or anything like that. Do the research. You could go to the spiritual metaphysics spot, and they'll tell you. So, when we put those dead foods in our body, we're not helping cells regenerate. We're killing it more. You could eat a burger from McDonald's and feel more tired and worse. Why? Because you didn't give your body nothing. It's like your cells is like, hey, we're gonna eat, and then you give it a burger, and it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Eat enzymes and live organisms. That's what I eat. What are you doing? So we fucking up by eating processed food, chemical food. All of those stuff don't have nothing to do with your cell. It's like it's binging on it. So your cells die out more and you age. That's what's called aging. That's what's called, you know, diseases and sicknesses. So you got to learn live stuff. Let me grab some live stuff. I'm going to do the basics. Because we live in a world that everything is bad. Alright, I'll just do the basics. And this will be what? Flaxseed. Like when you put this in water, warm water, it turns to like a slimy, nasty enzyme. But this is alive, and the iron help you build your cells. You like, your cell come alive now. It's alive. You know, this is shy seed. You know, you could put this in anything from coffee to chocolate to tea, whatever, or just warm it up with your oats. These is what cells exchange with. But they can't exchange with a burger. It can't exchange with a steak. It can't exchange with rice. Those is dead stuff. That's plastic created for it. Meat, protein, yes, but you shit out the rest. So what do you brush your teeth with? Oh, just baking soda, bicarbonate. Right? Oh, here go a great one. You see, you must be reminding me of something. This is what I want to tell you. I haven't used toothpaste in over 4 years. No toothpaste, nothing like that. I make my own baking soda, and you could take some sea salt, just a little bit if you want. It do like take off the film off your teeth. I'll be careful with that. You just let me break it down to you. Your teeth stay clean. It's just like polishing a crystal. Your teeth is crystal. You just want to shine it off a little bit and it looks brighter. The more you rub on it with, it's shiny and get white. Only time you get stained is, years upon years, and that's where you put your bicarbonate, a little sea salt in there, and that will take out stains. But you shouldn't have stains on your teeth. What are you eating? You understand? Too much acid. What stains make stains is acid. Acid burns through enamel. Sugar's acid. Take a piece of sugar or candy, put it on your teeth, and just leave it there. It's gonna start hurting after a while because it's gonna go through the enamel to your nerves. So stay away from acid stuff, sugar. It's anything with acid renders no good in your body. It destroys your brain. So when you're talking about the toothpaste and brushing the teeth, I wanted to give you an exercise to do that I was just gonna mention to y'all. Take your Colgate toothpaste, get a big tube, then get a pail of water. Squeeze all of that toothpaste into the water. Squeeze it in there. You can stir it up if you want. Put it in your bathroom and lock the door for about 20, 30 minutes. Then go back in the bathroom. I bet you it's going to make you pass out. Your nose is going to burn. Your eyes is going to water. You have to get out the bathroom. That's what Hitler used to poison us. The fumes is what fuck you up. Not the polishing of the teeth. That don't fuck you up. It's the fumes. Just opening your toothpaste, the fluoride just fucks up your brain and kills your pineal, calcify it. So it's the fumes that poison you. Berries, oranges, yes, yes, Sandra. Always, you keep your fruits. Fruits will always balance you out. So you eat fruits in the morning. First thing in the morning, you have your fruits going or whatever. That's a beautiful thing. Well, really, after your teas. Teas is first because you got to warm up your digestive system. Your digestive system don't warm up till 12 o'clock when the sun is down, following the circadian rhythm. But in the morning, to help eating your digestive system waking up, you drink warm teas. Teas now is putting back in the irons and the nutrients that you took out of your body because you drink water. Don't drink water around me. I'll slap it out your hand. I don't do water. Water is heavy metal. Heavy metal inside your body poison your body. Your body don't have water in it. If you think you have water in your body, you got water fucked up. Water runs through your body. That's not water. That's in the medieval time they call that aquifers. That's actually something that rusts iron. It rusts iron. What is your blood made of? Isn't your blood iron? So you putting rust all in your body. Drink coconut water, man. Drink alkaline water. Don't put any chemical water, made up water in a bottle. The plastic in the bottle changes the water. The plastic is BPM. BPM is a well-known chemical that destroys our body. So if you're drinking out of a water bottle, it's a BPM bottle. The water is null and void. It's no good no more. I don't drink water. I don't enthuse around me to drink water. When you don't drink water, you go through alchemy. Your body takes the heavy metals and get them out. But as long as you drink water, say you ate some food and you got the nutrients inside of you. Once you pee, because water just takes all your nutrients and you piss it out, you don't have no nutrients in you no more. You feel full, but you're going to be lazy, you're going to be tired, you're going to be hurting. You took away everything from your cell. Nail polish makes you sick. It's the same thing as toothpaste. Nail polish and toothpaste is the same thing. So it's the smell, it's the fumes. Try that practice that I say. It'll burn and sting your eyes. You feel it. You take it in small doses as you brush your teeth. They psyching you out because it's not doing nothing for your teeth. It's fume you're inhaling and they cover it behind peppermint so you don't feel the effects of it. After years of using it, you're null and void. I woke up after I stopped using toothpaste. Seriously, I started seeing things, visions flying around. Does taking shower destroy you as well? No, taking shower is fine. There is a science that I'm not going to teach y'all the science. I'll tell you it real quick. But we give off this thing called the anointed oil, the oily stuff that come out your skin. That's the magnetic field. It's good to wear that for 3 days, 2 days, sometime before you wash. When you wash your skin, it becomes dry and brittle. Especially if you're in the north, your skin is in the cold, your flaps is closed. Like if you see me, I'm shiny all the time. I'm projected. I'm like I'm turning into a crystal my damn self. You will see that in the north you're more dry and your flaps is closed. It's not crystalline, and that's because of the simple fact you're in the water too much. And what happened when you come out the shower? You could write your name like chalk on your skin. Everything is closed. So you put lotion, which is you're eating the lotion because your flaps didn't close. If they did, you will have the crystalline. They're open, so your pores is open. And you put lotion, you eating chemicals. They got it mapped out to keep you vibratory frequency low. You understand? A great way to avoid putting and eating bad stuff like that. Yes, Donna Suave, cucumbers, the ultimate moisturizers. Take a big long cucumber and bite off the tip. When you bite it off, it's gonna form that U shape. That's why I bite it instead of cut it. It's flat. That's gonna hurt. Bite it. Form like a cup, and you just rub your feet, rub your arm, rub everything. Yo, let me tell you, you take your time. It's like a massage with the cucumber now, and you could squeeze it and the juice start flowing, and then you rub it in and rub it in until it blends in and it dries. And you could look at it and see, because it'll dry up and turn ashy, and you hit it again. I'm putting you on. You're gonna see it's gonna dry and look turn ashy. Hit it again. Then it's like, okay, it don't look ashy, it look normal. But hit it again. It start looking mad smooth and wet and moist. Hit it again. Let me tell you what I just made you do. You could go take a bath now. No matter what you do for the next 3 days, your skin gonna stay moist for 3 days. No lotion, no nothing, even if it's wet. That is the greatest thing in the world. If you had brittle feet, them crusty feet, take that and do that till it's smooth. Exfoliate it. Yes, yes, dinosaur. And guess what? The exfoliation sit for 3 days, even if you wet your feet again. Because that's what's doing it. Wet to brittle, skin cracks. If you're in the south, the sun is there as a mediator between this oil comes over you and you won't crack. So the north, that's what happens. But I'm putting you on that. Use cucumbers as your lotion, man. It's a different type of lotion that lasts for a few days, and it's natural. It feel like the inside of the palm of your hand without making you glow and no smell. Cucumber's cheap, all right. And if you have feet that's brittle, ashy, about do that for about a week with the cucumbers. You have your feet would look like my hands, perfect. They wouldn't be ashy, brittle, no matter what kind of job. I'm in Canada and our skin get very dry. Yes, Donna Suave. That's why you have to use the cucumbers. Use natural things to rub on yourself to get that actual soft skin. I want y'all to leave a comment about what I'm giving you with the cucumber. See, I work out for you, especially for those, that have rough skin, dry, brittle skin. Winter's coming. And like I said, it lasts for more than 24 hours. That softness, and it's a beautiful softness, like the baby ass softness, and it's real, not induced by chemicals. You won't have no smell on you, none of that funny fragrance. It just be natural. I don't think we should be ingesting chemicals because they're numbers. Fragrances and coloring is cancer. It could be all these different chemicals in your food, but you only have to worry about when they put that color in it and the flavor in it. Those is the one that mess us up the most. They sit in our body, we can't digest it. It just floats around until it becomes a cancer. So I just wanted to put you on to that so you get it now. Um, now, I would recommend doing showers maybe every other day. You know, black woman, let me go to her for a quick minute. That's her problem, washing her hair too much while her hair become brittle and break off. Use the skin to, water the skin ratio and how it just turn dry and ashy. And your hair is the same thing. But now you get it worse because it don't get ashy. It brittleize. So when you hit it or comb it, all your hair coming out of the comb. You're really supposed to wash your hair once a month. Any black woman, wash your hair. You want dirt to accumulate. Dirt make your hair grow. It's nutrients, minerals. So you don't wash your hair as long as your hair ain't sour. What brings about sour hair is eating bad food, bad toxicity in your body. You know, some people, they sweat don't stink. Their shit don't stink. Their fart don't stink. Their feet don't stink. But when you eat bad food, like, byproducts of food, you're gonna have this odor when you perspire, odor when you have on your shoes long, odor when you fart, odor when you shit, odor when you piss. Those could be alleviated. That's not normal. That's not normal. And I didn't know that till I started eating correct. And then when I ate something bad, I'm like, hold on, underarm, what's that? It's a false flag. Don't eat that no more. Or if my doo-doo smell, like, I ain't eating that again. Your doo-doo ain't supposed to have no smell to it, man. Seriously, I'm telling you, because I've been living it for 2 years now, and when I see these is false flag. I mean, red flags to me not to eat those no more. So I remember Dr. Sabi said it that you don't smell nothing. This don't. It's true. So you have to learn to get to the indigenous life. I do recommend if you don't even have these type of foods around you, go to a farmer's market. Farmer's market is Fridays and Saturdays. You just gotta Google in your local area and try to get certain things that you could focus on. All I'm telling you to eat is something like shy seeds and flax seeds. This is your food. When you go buy your bread, your rice, your chicken, that's side things. That's not your survival food. You will force yourself to eat survival food. And then every other day, and every you eat your rice and your chicken and all that stuff. So you having something to feed the cells with, and then you have something that feeds your desires, what you think in your head or your culture is used to. That's what it is. Because you have to realize one is going to just run through you and one is going to help you. You want the one that's going to help you. Live enzymes help you. Live things, not dead things or things that's made out of plastic. Soy should never be eaten. Soy is plastic. It's not real. So I didn't want to get into this. We could do a video on nutrients, but let's stick to the ascension because I'm about to end this now. We did a lot here, 2 hours just about, and I think y'all got the full message I'm trying to convey about realizing your true self, because a lot of us, hold back and don't say what is on our mind. With that, you also hold back on some great ideas. You hold back on things that could change the world, change your circle, change your genetic line to your kids. You change, they change. It's a genetic thing. We're all connected in a synchronicity and sacred geometry that not much of us understand, but it actually influences the whole world. And once you do ascension and you complete it, you're not under your earth, your mother nature, not under God. You're under the universe. You listen to what the universe, you align yourself with all natures, all religions, all everything, and you get one message, the universal message. That's what we're geared to now, the universal message. What you have inside of you, your intentions, your desires, the universe is hearing it and it's aligning it through those things we call intuition. Nurture your intuition, and by you listening to it, writing down, intuition is nurtured through arts, poetry, music. That's inside of you. Do that and you will see more. You will understand more because the world is not fixed. If you come back here in 100 years, more than likely your neighborhood won't be there because it was an illusion in the first place. Nothing won't be here in 1,000 years because everything is an illusion. Only thing is real is your energy. Once you realize that, then you will focus upon the prize, which is yourself. You understand what I'm saying? So, on that note, that's the whole ascension journey and what I mean to tap into your real self. Because some of us, we're lusters. We got, freaky sides to us. We got evil sides to us. We got good sides to us. What I'm trying to tell you is don't change those things. Be yourself. That's what ascension is about. Being yourself. Each one will come up when you need it. Don't carry yourself in any type of way now. Don't go change and start. Always hide yourself. You're a shadow. Never show your true self. But at the same time, be yourself. Handle every experience accordingly. Don't think you're one-sided. Don't think you have to hold back. Accordingly to how you be handled, you handle everything. And so you get to meet the different aspects of yourself, which is the gods. You got all the gods in you, but it's kind of uncomfortable to meet them. Open chakras hurt too. You're going to feel it uncomfortable, scratching at first. As you go deeper into it, feel like you're going to pass out. You sometimes is spinning because you have a chakra over you spinning, which is going to start your macabre spinning. When your macabre starts spinning, you get to see energy. It looks like fire, very subtle, or smoke come through your eyes. So this means your DNA is at 7 strand, 8 strand now. We're only at 4 strand if you see it in 3 dimensions or the basic 3 dimension. When you start seeing overlays in your eyes, you're moving up in DNA strands. All of these is part of activation, which is all part of ascension. Learning the dragon, learning Sumerian, learning Babylonian, learning Egypt is a part of the ascension. It's like it's awakening in you, and you just have a curiosity for it. Learning nature, learning magic, learning the craft, learning necromancy, that's a part of ascension too. Learning about God and professing God, that's a part of ascension too. I just want you to understand all of these is in you. You don't have to watch YouTube and try to regurgitate the information without actually having the experience to understand it. First have the experience to understand it, then they'll make more sense to you. And if they're true in what they're doing, it will show. If it's not true, you will see it because you experienced it for yourself. On that note, I really appreciate y'all for coming through. I'm gonna start taking down little notes. Tomorrow's topic, I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about what happens when your Kundalini activate. So y'all understand that. I'm in Canada. Okay, wow, that's a lot of this. Peace and love, yes, Sandra, and I really appreciate your support. Have to rewatch this video, King, but great gifts for the time and you put I've been following you for a few years and I'm learning something new every day. Give thanks. That's right. That's my motto on my WhatsApp. You could WhatsApp me and link me up and we could chat some more. It's 876 294. What is it? 7297. Alright, I don't give out my number, but I give it to y'all on here. Alright. God bless my love.